Have you ever pondered what truly defines greatness? This seemingly simple question can send ripples through the calm lake of our understanding. It prompts us to reflect on our perceptions of power, leadership, and greatness. In our journey today, we will delve into the fascinating comparison between two types of leaders, those who rule others and those who rule themselves. Does the measure of greatness lie in the number of subjects under one's control? Or does it dwell in the mastery over oneself, the control over one's desires, emotions, and reactions? These questions might seem philosophical, even rhetorical, yet they hold the power to alter our perspectives on leadership and greatness. So let's embark on this quest of wisdom, peeling back the layers of conventional understanding, challenging the norms, and exploring the depths of our thoughts. What if I told you that the greatest leaders are not those who rule others but rather those who rule themselves? If we take a closer look at history, we can distinctly identify two types of leaders. The first type of leader is the one who rules others. These are the individuals who often come to mind when we think of leadership: kings, presidents, CEOs. They are the ones who stand at the helm, controlling the course of their respective domains. They make decisions that impact the lives of many, and their authority is often unquestioned. They're charismatic, assertive, and powerful, demonstrating a form of leadership that's outwardly directed. Then we have the second type of leader, those who rule themselves. These individuals may not be as immediately recognizable as leaders, but their influence is deeply profound. They are the philosophers, the artists, the innovators, those who have mastered the art of self-discipline and self-mastery. They don't necessarily command legions, but they inspire multitudes through their example. Their leadership is inwardly directed, focused on personal growth and the cultivation of wisdom. They are introspective, resilient, and enlightened, embodying a form of leadership that's characterized by self-rule. Now, it's important to note that these two types of leadership are not mutually exclusive. In fact, the most impactful leaders are often those who can balance both. They rule others with wisdom and compassion, while simultaneously maintaining a firm grip on their own personal growth and development. They understand that to guide others effectively, they must first be able to guide themselves. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not about which type of leader is inherently better or worse. It's about understanding the different approaches to leadership, and recognizing the unique strengths and challenges that each one presents. It's about choosing the type of leader you want to be, and striving to embody those qualities in your everyday life. So, after this brief overview, let's pose a question. Now, if you were to pick one, which type of leader would you aspire to be? Leaders who rule over others are often the ones who grab our attention. They stand atop podiums, grace the covers of magazines, and their names echo through the halls of history. They command armies, steer nations, and shape the course of the world. But let's take a closer look at these leaders, the rulers of others. These leaders are characterized by their ability to influence and control. They possess charisma, strategic acumen, and a knack for making tough decisions under pressure. Think of leaders like Alexander the Great, who conquered vast territories, or modern-day CEOs who steer multinational corporations toward prosperity. They are masters of the external world, orchestrating grand plans and executing them with precision. Yet, for all their strengths, these leaders also have weaknesses. Their power often comes at a cost. In their pursuit of success and influence, they may lose sight of their own values, becoming disconnected from their true selves. The pressure to maintain their power can lead to stress, burnout, and a sense of isolation. Their power over others can become an addiction, a never-ending quest for more control and influence. Moreover, the success of these leaders is often dependent on external factors beyond their control. Their power is tied to their position, and when that position is threatened, so is their influence. They are at the mercy of the tides of change, the shifting loyalties of their followers, and the unpredictable nature of the world around them. And then there's the question of legacy. Yes, these leaders leave a mark on the world, but what kind of mark? Is it one of positive change and growth, or one of conflict and division? The legacy of leaders who rule others is often a mixed bag, reflecting both their achievements and their failures. While they may be powerful and influential, are they truly great? It's a question worth pondering. As we turn our gaze to leaders who rule themselves, we may find a different kind of greatness, one that's not dependent on power over others but power over self. But that's a story for the next scene. For now, let's sit with this question: what makes a leader truly great? On the other hand, leaders who rule themselves often operate quietly in the background. These are the individuals who, rather than seeking the spotlight, prefer to cultivate their internal landscapes. They're the ones who acknowledge that true power comes from self-mastery, not just domination over others. Let's examine some of their key characteristics. They exhibit high levels of emotional intelligence, understanding that their emotions are powerful tools that can be harnessed for personal growth and effective leadership. They practice self-discipline, knowing that it is the cornerstone of success. They are self-aware, constantly examining their actions, motivations, and responses to ensure they are aligned with their core values and principles. Now let's consider the strengths of these self-ruling leaders. They are often more resilient, able to weather storms of adversity with grace and fortitude because they have cultivated inner strength. They are adaptable, able to pivot and adjust their strategies based on self-reflection and feedback. They are also more authentic, their actions being a reflection of their true selves, rather than a performance for public approval. However, like everyone else, these leaders are not without weaknesses. They may struggle with overthinking, as their introspective nature can lead to analysis paralysis. They might also grapple with perfectionism, setting unrealistically high standards for themselves that can lead to stress and burnout. Historically, we can see examples of such leaders in figures like Mahatma Gandhi, who led India to independence not by military might but by non-violent resistance. In the contemporary world, we can look to figures like Elon Musk, who, despite his public persona, has often spoken about the importance of introspection and self-improvement in his journey to success. These leaders may not dominate headlines, their names may not be on everyone's lips, they may not be the ones standing on grand stages, basking in the applause of the masses, but they are the ones who are quietly changing the world, one self-aware, disciplined decision at a time. They may not be as conspicuous, but their impact is often more profound and lasting. But how can we apply the concept of self-rule in our own lives? Well, think of it as an adventure, an exciting journey into the heart of who you really are. The first step is self-awareness. It's about knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, and your fears. This can be achieved through introspection, meditation, or even journaling. It's about taking a good, hard look at yourself and confronting what you find, even if it's uncomfortable. Next, we move on to self-discipline. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's easy to know what you should do, but the challenge is to actually do it. This involves setting clear, achievable goals and then taking consistent action towards them. It's about making a commitment to yourself and sticking to it no matter what. It's about taking ownership of your actions and being accountable to yourself. Then comes self-confidence. This is built by proving to yourself that you can rely on you. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you reach a goal, every time you step out of your comfort zone and succeed, you're building self-confidence. It's a slow process, but it's worth it. Finally, we have self-improvement. This is the ongoing commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. It's about constantly learning, growing, and evolving. It's about not settling for good enough, but always striving for better. It's about being open to feedback and willing to change. It's about turning your weaknesses into strengths and your failures into lessons. In the end, the journey to self-rule is a lifelong process. It's not about reaching a destination, but about the journey itself. It's about learning to trust yourself, to rely on yourself, to believe in yourself. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle whatever life throws at them, not because they control everything around them, but because they control themselves. Remember, greatness is not about ruling others, but about ruling yourself. So, what does greatness truly entail? That's the question we've been exploring today. We've discussed the difference between those who rule over others and those who rule over themselves. We've seen that the former, while often celebrated and revered, don't necessarily embody true greatness. The real essence of greatness, as we've discovered, lies in self-rule. It's about being in control of your own actions, emotions, and decisions. It's about having the discipline to do what's right, even when it's difficult. It's about being the master of your own destiny, the captain of your own ship. So, as we conclude our exploration, I encourage you to reflect on these ideas. How can you apply the concept of self-rule in your life? How can you become a ruler of your own self and thus truly great? Greatness, after all, is not about the power you wield over others, but the power you wield over yourself.